It is safe to call me a traveller. I clicked over 50,000 kilometres in under 2 years hunting these temples. And this track now is a track that a farmer uses to get to his fields. But it wasn't always this way. Right here is a temple, and it's exceedingly rare because there's only 17 of this kind. And they were built by the greatest of kings, King Jayavarman VII. And when I show you it, I sincerely hope you won't be bitterly disappointed because there's not an awful lot to see. But how many times have I asked you on this journey, and I'm not just talking about temples, I'm talking about the journey of life, you need to activate your imagination, for only then do all the colours come into play. This is Prasat NongKong, and what I'm going to do first is a 360 view so you can see what's around me, because what's around me is simply nothing. And I've been driving dirt roads for some considerable time, and when I found this place and found what its purpose was, well, quite simply, I am compelled to video it. Down there you can see my motorcycle, and just over there is where I filmed that opening shot. Now I've clambered atop of the temple itself to give you the best possible view of what is around us. Into camera now will appear parts of that temple, which looks out only upon rice fields that are now this beautiful gold color after the harvest. And what you see is what you see for mile after mile from this temple, and it is absolutely nothing. But about 1,000 years ago it was all very different. And here it is, Prasat NongKong. It's almost as though an explosion occurred here. All these laterite blocks just thrown hither and thither. And just maybe that explosion was caused by loneliness. Because this temple, as I said, is only one of 17. Built, as we know, by Jayavarman VII. So why is this pile of rubble so very important? And why would a temple, metaphorically speaking, explode from loneliness? Well, this ain't a temple for starters. What this is a hotel. Unbelievably, 17 structures were built that were rest houses, also known as firehouses, because one could imagine a loft on the roof. Potentially a flame was kept burning all night to draw in travellers, to bring them towards sanctuary. So you can imagine walking through this door nigh on 1,000 years ago. You have been on the road all day, all night, not just day after day, month after month. These people traded as far as India, China and beyond, and who knows who trod here, who stepped across the threshold and at long last, late at night, weary, maybe ill, and found sanctuary within these destroyed walls. I go to many temples that look like this, and I never ever film them because there's just not enough to put on camera. And I don't do films unless I feel passionate about the place, and it's very rare I have felt more passionate than this little building here that nobody ever comes to. And it's worthy of note to say that I am deep into Thailand. This isn't one of those Cambodian temples that was ruined by the Khmer Rouge and so on. No, This is one of those that was on a mighty trading route, for near here there must have been a road, and you don't place a rest house in the back arse of nowhere. What there must have been around here was a town, but we know from me standing up on those blocks there and looking all around, there ain't nothing left. All that really remains is this wall, looking out over these fields that stretch on and on and on for mile after mile. And if I'm going to tell you the truth, which I always do, this place makes me kind of sad. Because with this rest house, motel is a word we could use, being positioned here, it also meant that there was plenty of other things, because the travellers that came this way would have travelled exceedingly long journeys, and they would need food, fresh water, and even things like a tailor to repair worn clothes, a cobbler to repair your shoes, sir. All of it would have been supplied here. But as we know, when we look about, there's nothing left. Everybody has turned to dust. The evidence clearly shows what it was that killed off this temple, and it wasn't loneliness. It's right here. Look, can you see? This is a tree that's got between these laterite blocks and separated them and pulled the temple down. That would have happened all over this temple. What is left now is just this one solitary wall. God bless him. It's hard to explain why I stop at some temples and walk past others, but this one has captivated me. I have been here an awful long time, and I've really soaked it in. It is that history, I suppose. The history of the traveller, and just maybe this place did fall into rack and ruin, explode from loneliness. Because after all, what is it to have an imagination? The romantic would have no love stories to tell if he didn't have an imagination, and the traveller with his wizened old tales, his stories might be a little dull without a colourful imagination. So we're going to say that this one, well, he exploded due to loneliness. I very much hope you've enjoyed this trip around this ancient wondrous site that's far away. And if by chance you could help me build up a library of such sites, often neglected and abandoned, then I would be truly grateful. And how you do that is go to www.patreon.com/temples. As simple as that. And as always, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. And in honour of those travellers that came here, I'm going to walk off into the sunset, because that's exactly which way they were heading.